So after last night's win, the Montreal Canadiens wrestled back home ice from the Vegas Golden Knights. And when I say they wrestled back home ice, I mean it. That game was an absolute war. So just some lineup notes in this one for the Habs. They make a couple of changes. Jeff Petrie and his eyes get back into the lineup. No, you can't talk about Jeff Petrie today without mentioning those eyes that he has now. And also John Merrill draws in, Romanov and Kulak come out for Montreal. Chandler Stevenson, a late scratch, I believe he's injured, so Patrick Brown draws in for Vegas. So Montreal once again would get off to a very fast start, much as they did in Game 1, but this time they would capitalize on their chances as Yoel Armia would score his 5th of the season, assisted by Edmondson and Perry. That came just 6-12 into the first period. Montreal gets rewarded for their hard work. They get one past Marc-Andre Fleury, and that's a huge goal for Montreal, as when they score first, they usually end up winning the game, except for one time this playoffs. And then with 3.5 left in that first period, Tyler Toffoli would add to the Montreal lead as he would score his 5th of the playoffs as well. That one assisted by Caulfield and Jeff Petrie, so Petrie with an assist in his first game back. And for Toffoli, he whiffed on that puck definitely, but Montreal will take the break. It fooled Fleury 100%. It went through his legs, a squeaker through the legs. And it's 2-0 Montreal, and that's the way it would stay after one period. And Montreal was all over Vegas in that first period. The shots were 12-4. Montreal did not just have a good 10 or 12 minutes of the first like they did in Game 1. I thought they had a good full 20 minutes. The Golden Knights would turn up the heat in the second period as Max Pacioretty off a Josh Anderson turnover at the blue line. This is why you got to get the puck deep when you have no play if you're Anderson. Pacioretty would ring the puck right off the post. I thought it went in originally. I think the crowd did too. But Vegas, they have a devastating transition game. You can't turn the puck over against them. They're one of the best teams in the league transitioning from defense to offense. They do it so quickly, and they're very dangerous too, so you have to manage the puck well against a Vegas team. Then roughly a couple minutes later, Alec Martinez would have a great opportunity. I don't know if he missed it. I believe Price might have got a tiny piece of it to make a great save. But Martinez couldn't believe it. He thought he had scored at first. And believe it or not, this game is still 2-0 Montreal. But then with 2:15 left in the second period, Montreal would catch a bit of a break as Keegan Colasar would lose his man Paul Byron. And when you lose Paul Byron, usually that's not a good thing with the way he skates. So Montreal, they cut in on the breakaway, or Byron does anyways. He makes an absolute fool out of Marc-Andre Fleury. He goes forehand, backhand, roof job for a beautiful backhand goal. It's 3-0 Montreal. Byron gets his 2nd of the playoffs, his first since Game 1 against Toronto. That one assisted by Kotkaniemi and Joel Edmondson again. So Edmondson factoring in on the scoring. All of a sudden, he's becoming a bit of an offensive defenseman himself. But Montreal will take any guy they can get factoring in. And just like that, it's 3-0 Montreal. If you're Montreal, you want to head into that second intermission up 3-0, not give Vegas any life. And if you're Vegas, you want to find a positive that you can build on heading into the third period. And the Golden Knights would do just that. As a minute 14 left in that third period, Alex Pietrangelo would have a seeing-eye wrist shot through traffic to beat Carey Price to get Vegas on the board. Keegan Colasar gets the only assist on that one. Pietrangelo's really finding those lanes in these playoffs. I find that's only his 2nd goal so far to this point in the playoffs. It seems like he should have a lot more with how well he shoots the puck from the point. Vegas really turned up the heat in that second period as the shots were 10-4, and they now have a positive heading into that third period. They got the crowd rocking, and that's the last thing you want if you're Montreal, but this is definitely a good thing for Vegas. In that third period, the Vegas Golden Knights would throw absolutely everything at Carey Price and the Habs, but eventually they would crack as with 5:14 left. Alex Pietrangelo, again, they find him. He finds the back of the net. That one assisted by Marchessault and Carlson. Pietrangelo, again, another great seeing-eye shot. The Golden Knights are now within 1. The crowd's rocking. This is the best case scenario for Vegas, and it just looked like everything was going in their favor in that third period. And then with just over 3 minutes to go, Alex Pietrangelo would try to hook up with Mark Stone, but Tyler Toffoli would make an absolute game-saving play as he would dive across and deflect the puck away from Stone. Because if Stone gets that puck, man, oh man, I think it's a tie game. And for Montreal, I don't know if they would have been able to pull it off in overtime again with how loud that Vegas crowd was. Vegas would pull the goalie. Montreal did a pretty good job at defending 6-on-5. I didn't think the Golden Knights had too much going on in that situation. And the Habs would hang on to win, to wrestle home ice away from Vegas, like I said in the open. and they win by a score of 3-2. Carey Price, full marks to him. He was brilliant once again in this game. The shots were 17-7 for Vegas in the third, 31-23 for Vegas overall. Like I said, Montreal was hanging on for dear life in that third period. I thought in the final 40, Vegas was the better team once again. And Montreal, well, they had a great first 20 minutes. I thought they kind of got away from their game. Vegas got to their game, and that's what made an absolute battle for Montreal down the stretch. And Vegas was the better team, like I said, for the final 40 minutes. Montreal and Carey Price steal a game here, and they got to be grateful for that. Going back to Montreal tied 1-1, they're going to have to play better if they want to beat Vegas. And if you're Vegas, you got to have better starts. As yeah, you got to give Montreal credit for playing well in the opening period, but I do think that was helped along a little bit by Vegas maybe not necessarily playing that great in the first period too. So for Vegas, you have to imagine they'd want to be talking about, we got to have better starts. If we have better starts and play like we did the final 40 minutes, we can definitely beat these guys. Those are my thoughts on this game. Please let me know what you all think in the comment section below. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe and share this video. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll talk to you again soon.